So, welcome devotees for today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class from Shriva Sangan chapter of ISKCON Seshadribram. Today we will be discussing 8th chapter, 24th verse. I will read the verse. Agnir Jyotir Aha Shuklaha San Masa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayatha Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vido Janaha. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light and an auspicious moment of the day during the fortnight of the waxing moon or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Okay, so this verse we are discussing in the series of trying to understand to some extent what we call as a bodily death and how do we go back to Godhead and what are the different times at which you leave the body. Then what happens to persons leaving the body at different times. And here we are discussing this particular verse which will talk about at what time, a specific time, if you leave, you may not come back. Okay, so now the context is we need to understand that this is not like anyone and everyone who can just, who dies, if it is said here, right, those who know the Supreme Brahman attain the Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light. For example, if you read it in isolation, see, I live in the light, that means during the daytime that everybody goes back to God. It doesn't happen like that. Here the initial words are important, those who know the Supreme Brahman. And if you see the previous verse also where it is given that it refers to these yogis, the yogis who have perfected their life, but of course not through the Bhakti Yoga process or the personal feature, that is accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are mostly impersonalists who are advanced through the process of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or this Dhyana Yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga, these kind of things, if they have perfected, particularly this Dhyana Yoga and all, where they are more focused on spiritual realization. So these are for those kind of devotees. But Prabhupada again writes in this chapter, in this verse also, and I think he writes in wherever he is talking about this particular topic, he says that devotees does not matter. Particularly pure devotees. Devotees, yes, but pure devotees is more thing. They don't, it doesn't matter when they leave. We will discuss that. So this one is more about those yogis who leave their bodies. So it's mentioned, there's combinations, like, so that means one should not die during the night time. Then they pass away during that, this, when you say waxing moon, this is the moon which is the, what we call in Tamil Valar Pirai, or the time when the moon becomes full moon, that period, from no moon to full moon, that period, the fortnight. And also what we call as, here it is written as this, during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north, it is called Uttarayana, and generally is understood as Uttarayana. Even the shloka says as Uttarayana. So the sun is supposed to travel in the north side for 6 months of the year, and in the south side, that is called Dakshinayana. So that travels in the south side of the thing. So these combinations are there. If a yogi who's been practicing, sort of a spiritual progress, if he is doing certain practices other than Bhakti Yoga, and depending on his advancement level, it is mentioned. But there are some yogis who may not be very much advanced, so they are at a reasonably good state. So for them, what happens? See, these yogis, when you give a specific time, it is mentioned for these who can actually plan it like that. So these advanced yogis, they can actually plan it like that. In fact, I know of one person who was my colleague, and she said actually her grandfather was practicing, these yoga systems very nicely. And she said much before he passed away, she said he actually told the day and the time in which he will leave the body. And it happened exactly at that time. And he was sitting when he passed away, when they came and saw, he was sitting in a posture, like sitting, what you call the asana. So these are all not something written that we don't know. But I personally, because this person is very well known to me, she was my colleague in my office space, and she said that my grandfather left like that. So this is possible for people who are very much advanced in that place. But those who are performing these kind of spiritual advancement processes, but they are not perfected. Sometimes it may happen because of our purva karma, right? Nothing is by chance. See, those who live like this is one category. But the others, right, they live, and Prabhupada writes, those who live accidentally. Accidentally means there's some health issue, something, and then they pass away during, let's say, Dakshinayana, or they pass away during the night. So we say, is it accidentally? It's not accidentally. In this situation, it is said that accidentally, in the sense, these are not planned by that person. In the sense, not advanced, who does not know the Supreme Brahman, that's important. But it is not accidental, it is based on their karma also. See, we all are pushed, there's very little area of movement and material sphere for us to escape the karmic, this one. The karma is so strong, it is mentioned that it's like a calf finding its mother, even when there are thousands of cows there. The calves, they have a radar, I think. They come exactly to the mother. Whereas how many ever cows are there, it doesn't matter. The calf will find that particular mother in lakhs of cows also. Similarly, the karma also will catch us wherever we are, however we are. We cannot camouflage, we cannot escape karma. So that person, to get into not to go back, if it is karma was like that, then he will certainly pass away in Uttarayana, in Dakshinayana, or during the night time or something like that. We may call it chance, but it is not chance. That is in the arrangement of the law of nature. So that is, these two are important. So there are yogis who may not have perfected. They may live during the night time and all that. But then, they are also yogis, but then how come, they didn't go in that? That you will see tomorrow, what happens to such people. But again, you have to understand, these are people who are having very good progress through those three processes. It's not like any Tom, Dick and Harry. For example, there's an atheist. Supposing an atheist is there and he suddenly lives in Uttarayana time, or even during an auspicious time and all that, can we say therefore that he will go back to Godhead? Here it is not even guarded. You should understand that they are going to this, mostly the Brahma Jyoti, where the impersonal feature of the Lord, where it is, you won't return. And it is written here, you won't return. But that is to be understood in the context, that it's not like, you don't come back. That is there. I mean, even for that matter, even if you go back to the spiritual world, those devotees who go back to the spiritual world, when they are in Goloka Vrindavan, there are chances that a person can come back. That is again, this is rarest of rare. It may not happen, it will never happen. That's why Krishna says, Yad gatva na nivardate tattama paramam mama. So you will not come back. But Prabhupada, I have heard him in a couple of places where he says, see, you have independence. You have to also remember that. So there is a possibility. From there, if you desire, even from the spiritual world, you may come back. There are very rare chances, but no, people will not be foolish to do that, right? If I have been bitten by a snake, I will be foolish to go and try and stand next to a snake next time, right? Or if you touch fire and your fire has hurt you, you have that experience. Will anybody have that basic common sense? Will not have that basic common. Next time I should be careful with this fire. I should not touch it. This the thing is there. So that is always there. But since we are crazy, right? In the sense, the craziness is part. It can come. You can't help it. It can come means I'm not saying it is like karma that it will come or something like that. But there is this propensity is always possible that jealousy it can happen. In the spiritual world also. And someone may have come. So this is very difficult. We can't keep exploring too much into this one. When Krishna says, Yadgatva nani vartate tattama paramam, we accept that. We don't go for this 0.0000001% chance which is there. We don't go debating too much into that. And therefore I don't want to go. That is not our mood. We need to go there. That's it. This is not a great place to be there. We need to go back. I may sometime come back. Why to even worry? Let me be here. That should not be our thought. That can happen. This, they say, the probability is there even in spiritual thing. It's mentioned something like that. But we don't want to go too much, use our intelligence in the wrong way to argue against that. So for us, Yadgatva nani vardante taddama paramam mama should be accepted. I mentioned it because someone may have a question. That's why I mentioned it. But don't give too much weightage to that. So we can, the other practitioners of so-called spiritual paths, the Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga or Jnana Yoga, for them this is the way to go back to the Supreme Brahman. I don't want to call it God, Supreme Brahman. Of course, that is not different. Krishna says, right, that is also my feature. The Brahma Jyoti is also my. So we don't disrespect that. We have to understand that that is the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is not different from Him in that sense. But it has a limitation, as in that because we don't want to believe in the what do you call the form, then it is in that formless state, and in that formless state there is no activity. In the sense, there is no rasas which are exchanged. Only with the forms you can exchange the rasas, the 5 types of rasas that we talk about, and then there are sub rasas, chivalry, or even adbhuta. All these things are wonderful things. In combination with the main rasa, you have this chivalry and then this adbhuta. Then it makes life interesting. Otherwise, even though there is bliss, you simply are in a place which is complete vacuum. There is no face to talk to, face to relate to. So what is mentioned that those who reach to this Brahma Jyoti also, if you go to, for example, a moon planet, we may live for 10,000 years in that, as per the time frame of the spiritual world. But when you go to this Brahma Jyoti and all, it may be millions of years. So that is certainly there. That is why it says you don't return. But there is always a possibility even from there that jiva may fall, because after a point in time, this rasa is always needed. Any jiva, they look for this rasa. When there is no rasa, then slowly they tend to fall back into this material world. So that probability is even higher than someone, and not even higher, it will be like much, so many thousand percentages higher than someone coming back from the spiritual, Goloka Vrindavan. Because that will go from Goloka Vrindavan, literally nobody comes. That's, I don't know, point, something possible. But here, the possibility are much higher from the Brahma Jyoti, because there is no activity there is no relating to someone. It is just that blissful state. But we have to understand, we don't disrespect, because that is also the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not something which we call even a lower energy. It is part of the spiritual world. The Brahma Jyoti is not in the material world, it is the spiritual world. So to that extent, it is definitely a very, very higher state. But devotees don't aspire for that. That we need to be very clear. We want to learn all these things, know it, but we don't want to even meditate on these things. What are my option 2, option 3? No, for us there's no option 2, option 3, only one option. Go back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Shyam Sundar. That form of the Lord is what we are interested in, not anything else. And for Prabhupada writes in this purport, one who's coming to this devotional service and then he's perfecting his life, he becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. For him, there is no time and space, nothing. It doesn't matter whether you live in Dakshinayana, Uttarayana, during the waxing moon or waning moon, or during light or dark, doesn't matter. For them, it is just like coming into a house and going out of the house. That's all. You walk into a room, walk out of the room anytime, right? It doesn't matter for you when you walk in. You can't say, no, this is daytime, it's night time, I will not go into that room. Unless you feel there's some fear, some ghost in that room. You don't go into that room in the evening. But otherwise, you don't bother, right? You just go in anytime like that. So a devotee is like that. He does not care. He just comes and he goes. And his place is always clear because he's dependent on Krishna, and Krishna will actually take him back. We can see Prabhupada also, he left not in the daytime, he left in the evening time, sometime late evening. And when Prabhupada left, there are some devotees who were there. They could see that suddenly they felt the room has become suddenly bright and the gloom expanded. That the brightness was so much that the walls literally went back. They could feel like that when Prabhupada left this planet. The great personalities, they don't have to worry about time and circumstances. They go on their own will. So this is what I thought I will share. If there are any other comments or any questions, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class. I heard, I'm sure this may not be right, but before I came into Krishna consciousness, there was just general people, what they talk is if a person leaves his body on Vaikuntha Ekadashi, irrespective of his devotional status, he is going to reach the Vaikuntha. I don't know about this, Prabhuji. Please kindly explain.
See, leaving this body in some auspicious times, like Vaikuntha Ekadasi, or for that matter, even an other Ekadasi, it's not an ordinary thing. This is again, as I said, no, we may take it as a chance that a person, if so, assuming in these cases they are ordinary people, but they died on a Vaikuntha Ekadasi day. So we may say, okay, he was in hospital, he was in ICU, and then suddenly he passed away, and that day happened to be Vaikuntha Ekadasi day, we may say. So that materially we may think it is not, this is some accidental death or something like that. But it is not accidental. So few things are there. One is, when we leave, it is not necessarily that one need to go to the spiritual world, but they may go to some very, very higher planetary systems also. This is also possible. But there are also, see, that's why I said, spirituality also, there is probability. We don't know. Like that person may have done a lot of spiritual activity in the previous life, and maybe there was some little bit of enjoyment propensity for which the person may have come and he would have been simply enjoying life. We don't know. So we cannot judge like that. And when that was over, he or she was taken away in that auspicious time to the spiritual world. So we don't know. So we can't guess these things beyond a point in time. Whatever is mentioned in Gita, we can understand. So maybe such persons it may happen like this. That's why Prabhupada, if you see his written, right, someone who lives accidentally in this property rights, someone who lives accidentally. So these persons could possibly have been, because karma is strong, as I said, right? If I have so much negative karma, and if I, assuming accidentally I die during the Uttarayana, and of course I was practicing some kind of a yoga, let's say, then it doesn't seem to be logical, right? Then why people have to struggle so much to perfect everything else, so it's not like that. But there is always this case of someone may have advanced, and in this life we don't see them doing any spiritual activities at all. But we don't know. Like for example, if you look at Prabhupada's disciples, when they came, they, according to our recorded history, some of them are seen as hippies. So they were on the road taking, these drugs and stuff like that and all that. So then how come then they are all such elevated souls, and how did they go back? Some of them went back to Godhead. You can say, how is it possible? So Prabhupada says, right, say this is that is external. Prabhupada, someone has asked also, how come that we are? He had told a couple of things. He said, you are, they said, how come we are getting this thing? They say, you don't have it. No, I have given it to you. Prabhupada has said sometimes like that also. But there are also times when Prabhupada said, that is superficial, that you are birthed in a Western Malacha type of circumstances, and you are taking to drugs and all. He says that is superficial. So, and many times you have said, you have all been sent by Krishna to help me. And you can think about these great personalities. Okay, you are a drug addict, but how you master Sanskrit and other stuff in so much small time? You do proofreading, you do printing in 1 year, 2 years time. We all have been going like how many years we don't even still not able to read properly Sanskrit. So these are all not. But when you look at it externally, oh, these are drug addicts. How did they become like that? That's so. That is our vision is not good. But as I to answer your question, maybe it can happen, but if they do, it is not. Anyways, these auspicious times are not ordinary times. So maybe there is some higher background for them. It has happened, but we can't say for sure. In the sense whether they will all go back to Godhead, we don't know. But it is mentioned by accident if they leave, and these assuming they have not perfected, they leave. Maybe they will go back. But these times has been mentioned. The specific days. So if the Vaikuntha Ekadasi, it is not mentioned here specifically, but if it comes in that Uttarayana time under Vaikuntha Ekadasi, they may be, you go back to Godhead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I heard from my mother-in-law many times that when a family member leaves his body, after that, if all auspicious things starts happening in your family, and all that means that person who left the body was a very auspicious, a good person. And if evil things starts happening and many hindrance starts happening in your family, that means the person who left was not, how to put it, Prabhuji, was not a very good person. Is it something relation, Prabhuji, of this?
No, I don't know. I don't think those things are. See, everything may have some relation, but see, these are very complicated. There's no straight answer. I can't say with 100% thing. This is what it is, because see, there are things like when I do a lot of bad things. The family also get to have that effect in that family. When I do some good things, we say, right, sometimes when people they say you are because of your forefathers good things, they say that, and that is true, because there is like that some of the benefits that this person has done flows to the next generation, because that is also in their mind. Like when people, we always pray for our family, right? When he does some good things also, he will always say, please keep my family. When you do some dana, materially I'm saying, when you do a dana, it naturally comes to your head. On the benefits of that dana, you always say, you pray for yourself, you pray for your family. So when the dana has happened, when the benefit comes, when you have asked for it for yourself and for your family, it will happen. So that is there. So by nature, if I am doing good things, my next generations will get benefit. If I am doing bad things, my next generation will also could get bad things. That is also there. But at the same time, everyone is a jiva. Like he or she comes with his own baggage of what happens in life. So it's a combination of these things. Like so my karma is there. I may come in. I have a very bad karma. I come in the family of a guy who's already having some bad nature. As a result, this karma is delivered through that person. Thus, those things can happen, but it is not exactly very like one-to-one correlation. There could be a combination of things, but what you say has to some extent is to some extent true. It is fact. Like if we do things properly, you can see your children are reasonably benefited. There are cases where the parents were nice, everything was going good, but they are nice people, but after they did, children suffered and all this. This could also there. But the thing is, when we do nice things, the family get nice benefit. If you do bad things, the family do have some effect of our negativities also.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I think we are done, Prabhu. There are any?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that class, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you, devotees. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam,
Hare
Dandavat Pranam to
Hare
everyone.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.